You might have this question: why should I bother to learn the importance of storytelling in communication? Well, a simple answer to that would be when nothing else works, stories do. And in terms of business, stories speak to the part of our brain where decisions are made. Hi, this is Deevyesh Mistry. In today's video, I'm going to help you understand the importance of storytelling in communication, and I'm also going to share 6 simple hacks which will help you become a master storyteller. So, let's begin. Before we go ahead, we first need to understand the importance of storytelling in detail. The reason storytelling is one of the oldest forms of communication and perhaps the most effective one is because stories make us cry, make us laugh, make us angry, make us sad, and make us happy. These are all emotional triggers, and a proficient communicator knows how to press these emotional buttons in your brain. There is no better way to engage an audience's emotions and imagination than to tell stories because humans are wired for them. We immerse ourselves into the stories to an extent that our brains often don't distinguish the difference between fiction and reality, and that's the reason we think we are a part of those stories. Stories make us experience information as opposed to just consuming it. When we tell stories to others that have helped us shape our thinking and way of life, we can have the same effect on them too. The beauty about storytelling is when you share your vulnerabilities with others, you empower them to think, if he could, so can I. Communicate your story right, and you can get a potential client to believe in your story as strongly as you do. Now, let's see those 6 simple hacks. Storytelling is in our nature. Now, you might have this question: what to do if I'm not a natural born novelist? How do I come up with a good story? Well, creating a narrative isn't that hard. You do it every day. Human beings, we have been telling stories since thousands of years, from cave painting stories to your trivial trip to the post office. Keep the story simple yet relatable. You don't need character arcs and plot twists to share your story. You need a story that will resonate with your audience. If you're pitching to a client, align your problem with something they have experienced themselves. The human mind can relate to and absorb to the story if there is a human element in that story. If you are asking someone to do something like sign up for your product, then you have to make them care. Unless you are very lucky, your offering won't be the only one on the market. To make yours the only choice, or to make yours the one they choose, engage their emotions when you tell your story. Describe the trials you overcame in building your company so it was ready for sale. Or rather than simply talking about clients, describe the people involved in your previous deals and the success and personal benefit it delivered to them. It's worth it because, according to Gallup, and I quote, consumers will give more money to business they feel emotionally connected to. Do you want me to share an example? The best and the biggest example of this is Apple. The best communicators today are the ones who engage with their audience on a personal level, inviting them to share their personal stories and ensures it lives up to the expectations. I assure you one thing: master this skill and you will be well on your way to become an effective communicator. Recent neuroscience research tells us more about storytelling. When you tell a story, your brain produces a chemical called oxytocin. It generates trust in the listener. It's the same principle which works when you show somebody unexpected kindness. Now, this chemical motivates cooperation and does this by enhancing the sense of empathy, which is our ability to experience others' emotions. This is important to social creatures because it allows us to understand how others are likely to react to a situation, including those whom we work with. how do you construct a story? To give you an example, in the Indian context, the biggest examples of storytelling are the classic poems like Mahabharata and Ramayana. And if you talk about movies, there is none better than the magnum opus Bahubali. The first part of this movie ends with a cliffhanger. Why did Katappa kill Bahubali? And just this one question made millions of people wait with bated breath for the second part. Instinctively from young age, we know how stories are constructed. So there are three parts. There is a beginning, there is a middle part, and then there is an end. Now, how can you construct a story using this principle to impress your audience? To start, break a story into three parts. The problem or the beginning. What issues did you identify in your industry? What services or product was there a lack of? Second, the journey or the diagnosis. How did you go about researching a solution to this problem? Or how did you develop your product or service? Third, the solution or the end. How will your product or service change the industry or solve the problem? Now, last but the most important part of this video, and this is so beautifully explained by Mr. Amin Haq. He says, and I quote, "All stories must come from the truth, because if they are coming from falsehood, then those stories will have a very short shelf life." But truth alone is not enough. Truth needs to be well told. This well told is articulation. This well told is presentation. This well told is visualization. This well told is the use of metaphor. This well told is the use of contrast. When well told meets truth, that's when it becomes a story. And that is the reason it is not just what you say alone that matters. How you say, that makes all the difference. The way the content of your story lands is as important as the content itself. Remember, it's not just the fact or the data alone, but how you are bringing that fact or the data that matters. If this was a deep dive into the world of storytelling for you, then let me know in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep sharing stories.